Welcome back, people. It is season 4, episode 47 of the Taxi Squad podcast. We are recording this on a Wednesday. You'll be hearing this on a Thursday. We got a fair amount to get into today. We have a strange and unusual topic that has to deal with unusual mascots. Also, Diddy prison update. We also have a fair amount of college football to get into this evening. And then not only that, some NBA talk brought to you by none other than the legend himself, a.k.a. the Reverend, a.k.a. Vince Glove, a.k.a. Vince. Will be giving that to you. And then, of course, NFL breakdowns and another Bears therapy session. It's the Taxi Squad podcast.
Come on, everybody, celebrate. The Taxi Squad is here today. So lose the blues, kick back and relax for now. Kick back and relax for now. They talk about sports and stupid stuff. They're probably wrong and it might get rough. So welcome back. It's the Taxi Squad. Yeah.
Vince, how you doing?
I'm good, dude. Welcome to Chicago. Because retroactively, you are in Chicago right now.
As we speak, I am in Chicago. Yes, that is true.
It's the holiday season. We're going to a wedding together. Look for your boys to be dapper tomorrow. Maybe a couple pictures on the Instagrams.
Couple handsome dapper. Going to be looking like a penguin. Vince is going to be looking blue suited. We're going to be looking good. We're going to be chopping it up. It's going to be fun. Shout out to a good friend of the pod, Tony. He's getting married.
Anthony, congratulations.
You know, he didn't realize that he had to wait this long to lose his virginity, but hey, God bless him.
He's a good Catholic man.
He's a very good Christian boy, and we applaud him for it. So we have the wedding. It's going to be wonderful. Got a fair amount of things to do in between that time, like, getting there. So today is just always a day of travel. For whatever reason, you feel like you're shot out of a cannon. You got a lot to do work-wise. And then, of course, we got the pod, so we got to make sure we're in time for that. I got a plane to catch, hopefully.
As a forewarning, just so you guys know, as we're recording this, Mike is just monitoring the time to make sure he gets to the airport on time. That's why I'm doing solo NBA. So that's why I'll just let you know that off the bat there.
Well, I mean, he usually does it by himself either way. And I'm just like, that's what's up. So it's not like you're going to miss my presence on the NBA talk.
True.
But with that being said, Vince, we do have a strange and unusual topic with the NBA. And potentially a couple here. NBA young boy talk. So, Vince, you put this on the sheet here. What's exactly happening with this Cavaliers mascot?
Those of you that don't watch the NBA in the beginning of the season, which is presumably a lot of people given the current situation with the declining viewership in the beginning of the season. First off, NBA Cup. I'll talk about that later. That's going on right now, so cool courts. Second, the Cleveland Cavaliers started off 15-0, which is the best streak since 1993-94 Houston Rockets, and then you have to go as far back as the 40s Hawks, I believe. So crazy start to the season. Better than any of the Warriors teams, anything like that. At the end of the game, and there's a picture here that I'll throw in on the edit. You should be able to see on the sheet here, Mike. This frog, this dude that's in an inflatable frog. The team has kind of connected to him.
He's like, hello, my baby. Hello, my baby.
Hello, my ragtime gal. This guy, for some reason, they kept finding him in the stands, and he kept wearing that thing. And then they started dancing with him on the court. And this guy's become like he's unofficial Cleveland Cavaliers mascot. And I'm here for it, man. If there's something in sports that I love, it's the spontaneity of random mascots, because that happens from time to time. And also a mascot that doesn't make any sense with the team name. I don't know why this guy's wearing a frog suit. Someone explains to me.
Yeah, I mean, the Cavaliers. Is it something of royalty, which it is? That's what technically a Cavalier would be.
Or maybe, I guess, the suit is a little Cavalier, if you ask me.
Oh, yes. The frog is very Cavalier. I put him in a top hat. And that's what this could be precisely received as, but it's not like, for example, when we were in St. Louis and we were at a Battlehawks game and there was, Jimmy the Hawk out here fucking running
Yeah.
around looking like Birdman on those old
Right.
commercials that you used to see in Chicagoland growing up. No, wasn't that.
Turd
He was
Ferguson.
just this guy. Yeah, he was just this guy. Oh, Turd Ferguson may be the unofficial mascot of the Battlehawks, aka
I
the
think he is.
Battlecocks. Shout out St. Louis, who's ever listening. Now, this is a little different, though. See, it's not like it has anything to do. Turd Ferguson didn't, but this could be like the Cleveland Cavaliers' Turd Ferguson if we're going
Yeah.
to give it a comp.
Truly. The frog fever has spread to the team's official mascot, Moondog, who joined in on the fun, by the way. So Moondog is their official mascot. Who cares?
What?
Who cares about Moondog? Not
Okay.
me.
What is it with these goofy fucking mascots in sports? I don't get it. The Phillies got this weird green thing, okay, and I don't even know what they call him. He's got the big waist deal, and it's like,
The
okay.
Philly Fanatic, dude.
Yeah, the Philly Fanatic. He's goofy looking, and then the White Sox have Southpaw, who is this egregiously large, fuzzy green dinosaur. I call him the fuzzy
Moondog
green
is
booger.
just a puppy. It just looks like a puppy.
He's just a puppy.
Again, not a puppy, but a dog.
He's a dog. He's a mutt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a baby want to run. Yeah, and then
I mean,
a
but, like-
cavalier means a gentleman or a knight, so I don't really understand. Oh, man's best friend. He's the knight's best friend.
Oh, okay.
That's just my assumption. That's not what they said.
Okay.
but-
Because so like a king cavalier is a breed of animal, right?
Yeah.
And that dog in particular,
Oh.
they say is one of the most loyal.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that at all. But I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a stretch. I prefer the Crazy Frog as their new mascot. I would like to say that. Because then in like 40 years when they have to explain where he's from, you'd be like, oh, this one time we went 15-0 to start the season and only a quarter of America saw it.
And the frogman was there to see it. I mean,
Now,
people are
if-
loyal to this guy.
If they make a run, though, Mike, this guy's going to go down in infamy.
The frog may have to take over for the king cavalier dog. That's the
Possibly.
puppy. That you may have
Possibly.
gone from a dog to a frog. Now,
You're going from
maybe
frog
this
to
is
dog.
maybe this is the juice that they needed.
It could be. I
Right?
mean, the East is a two-man race right now because the Sixers stink. I'll get to that later. Should we talk about Diddy?
Well, I was about to say, and I was about to transition from the loyalty thing, because no matter where the Diddy Combs goes, people are just maybe a little cavalier to him, if that makes sense.
Heyo.
Blindly loyal. So reports are coming out of prison from a gentleman by the name of Torre, who's a hip hop journalist, that inmate groupies in the same jail as Diddy are fighting for the opportunity to make his bed, and said Diddy goes around the jail and tells other inmates to smile in an effort to make them happy and lift their spirits. Vince, your thoughts?
Okay. I'm looking a little more into it in this article right now.
Uh-huh.
He's at the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center. He has groupies, which I'm not very surprised about because he's Sean P. Diddy Combs.
Right.
Did they know what he did completely? I don't know if they're getting access to all this information. Fighting over, quote, special things for Diddy, quote. That was Meek Mill did that for him. According to someone who's in that unit, Diddy is in not long ago. There are groupies among the inmates who want to do special things for Diddy and might even get jealous of another man who gets to make his bed or do other special, nice things. This is not the dangerous part of the prison, the insider reportedly told Evers, adding, everyone's chilling. Yeah, I feel like he's kind of running game out there. I think he's just kind of like, I'm the king of this castle, and maybe they have baby oil in jail. I'm not really sure. There's another chance that people think, hey, this guy's got about $1 billion in the bank. Maybe I get out and he'll start paying me good.
I doubt a lot of these guys are getting out anytime soon, Vince. But to your
Who knows,
point, I
man?
do believe yeah, that's true. There could be some clout trying to be gained here amongst the Diddy masses, but more so for Diddy. I don't think he's getting out of prison anytime soon. You know what I don't fully understand is why did Diddy come back to the U.S.? He was out of the country.
I think he felt invincible. I think he was like, I go
'Cause-
back to Brooklyn. Everybody in Brooklyn loves me. No one's going to bring me in. And then like 5 minutes into it, he gets brought in.
Yeah, the FBI figured out real fucking quick where you were, and they were like, okay, time to go.
Well,
Now-
think about it. He's like he's been untouchable for so long. He was doing the craziest shit and no one knew about it at all. He's like, I can get through this shit too. I get through everything. He was probably just thinking like that, and it wasn't true.
So if you do some homework in the hip hop community, there was a gentleman by the name of Russell Simmons, who was the founder of a group by the name of Run DMC.
Yep.
And
They had
his
a
brother
TV show.
Rev Simmons, whole thing. He got caught, with some weird allegations about him and some potentially, allegedly underage gals, and he fled the country.
Yeah.
And he now lives in Bali.
Yeah.
And he ain't coming back.
No.
So Diddy could have just totally just wiped.
He was already gone.
Funds, right? Why did you come back? I don't get it. Like, this is being a bad criminal 101. Like, if you knew what you did was shitty and pretty horrible, and you knew if you came back to the place you did it, you'd go to jail, chances are you shouldn't go back there. But to your point, I think the ego got in the way.
He felt invincible. He had something to come get. He decided to come get it himself like an idiot. But good. Happy he did, so he can go to jail for a very long time because he is a sick, disgusting person.
I think there's a lot of people in these circuits that are sick and disgusting people. We just
that's
don't know.
The thing. I can't.
Tip of the iceberg.
Part of me feels like it's a fucking everybody now because this went by the wayside for so long, and like Diddy parties were supposedly such like a cool thing for so long, and literally all it was just nasty, gross shit going on, and like date raping and drugs and shit. It's like you can't have America's favorite TV dad because he's pilling up ladies and throwing them in their room. You can't have a movie because of Harvey Weinstein and his gangrene on his pee-shot. And now you got P. Diddy having nice little people in jail making his bed because he was oiling up Meek Mill. Like, nothing's safe. Nothing's sacred anymore.
Oh, what a great segue. Talk about nothing being sacred. You want to know what isn't sacred, Vince?
The college football playoff.
The college football playoffs.
Oh, Lord.
Similar to some of these things being not so sacred.
Oh, boy.
Should we talk about this week past of college football? Because it was good. It wasn't great. It was good.
Yeah, I feel like we've had a couple weeks of like a couple good games and then a lot of snoozers. This week was very much like that. Couple fun games, though. Clemson Pitt, Mike. Can we just start off right there?
Pitt, man. I've been saying they're a good team.
I've been saying Clemson's bad.
Yeah, and Clemson, man, they lose to Louisville at home.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you go on the road to Pittsburgh, almost lose, come back, final seconds of the game.
Right.
To score a touchdown on a QB run of all things. Absolutely electric. Clay Klubnik, not a bad guy, not a bad quarterback.
he's
probably not
just
going
okay
into the NFL. Yeah.
He's worse than he was supposed to be.
Yeah, he gives me big, like, second week in a row, big Josh Rosen vibes. Even though Josh Rosen was like the only thing to come out that year, why everybody was so high on him.
What, the year that he came into the NFL?
Uh-huh.
He was like the fourth quarterback picked that round.
Dude, he was in the first round. It was insane.
I know. He was like 9th or something, or 10th.
I swear we're going to win some Super Bowls.
That was a horrible call. But there was like, I can't think of, was it Josh Allen was drafted that year or the year before?
I think Josh Allen was drafted that year.
Okay. I'm going to do some reconnaissance right now because I was actually looking at this the other day. 2018 draft, Mike has... Here we go. It has Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen number 7, Josh Rosen number 10.
Wow. See? So there you go.
3 of those guys are starting in the league right now, and the other one is Josh Rosen.
And the Bears took none of them. So when we look at this is something that he gives me that vibe. But
I get
Clemson's still potentially in the hunt for the ACC. I mean, they don't play Miami,
Dude.
I don't believe, before the end of the year.
They will come ACC championship time, I'm sure. If they even make it there. Are they going to be the ACC championship?
I mean, Miami?
No, Clemson.
They're the second best team in the ACC, but
Yeah, but they're not.
Oh yeah, no, it's right now. It's leading the pack is SMU, but
Yep.
which is truly insane.
There's really not much you can say to take SMU out of that spot. I mean, they
The
haven't.
diabolical thought process of all this is SMU was a ghosted program for
Yep.
what 30 years almost, and now
Something
they're
like
making
it.
their epic comeback into
Who went
relevance.
there? Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric Dickerson. I highly encourage everybody listening to this podcast, go watch that 30 for 30. It's truly fascinating.
It's great.
Before the NIL even existed, it was like the wild, wild west and in Texas and
It was
Sam Methodist
way before
University.
the NIL existed.
Yeah, they were giving
It was
out
before, like, the
cars to
NCAA.
top
Yeah.
recruits and shit. Like,
Yeah.
it was who was going to throw the most amount of money, and SMU did that for a lot of guys, and they got caught. But everybody has always done it from the beginning.
He was the right guy, though, because Eric Dickerson was crazy good. That is a great
What's crazy to
concept.
me is that Miami may have the best quarterback in their conference, but may not even squeak into the playoff.
In their conference or possibly the best quarterback in the country. Some are saying. I'm not. Some are saying.
Yeah, I saw a
you can
couple
make
mock
the
drafts
argument.
recently, and Mike's probably going to be wrong on his.
I know.
defense
That's
anymore.
what I would say.
I just don't see it, but he's very Justin Fields to me.
Yeah,
That's
but
all I got from that.
Justin
talk.
Fields won in the first round.
Yep, and we all saw how that's working out. Now,
Hey, man, he slid.
Yeah. A game that was the biggest surprise to me and really shows how young of a team this is. Kansas State. I thought they were far better in the Big 12 than they were,
They're
but
not even
ASU
ranked.
had the kicker issue, figured it out, and they've just been dogging since. Walk into Kansas, beat them by 10 points. That
Still
game
should have
wasn't
been Noah
close
Krinsky.
ever.
Still
It's
should have been
insane.
Noah Krinsky, but it's okay that they got a different kicker. K-State not even ranked anymore. K-State, I think they were like 11th at some point in the season.
At one point in the season, they were looking like they were going to be 1-2 with BYU, who also fell to Kansas, which is truly impressive that Kansas went on the road and beat the Mormons.
I think the Big
after
12's
me-
getting one team in the playoff this year.
It's most likely.
Like
I mean-
Boise State comes in, beats BYU for the championship. They're going to get that. And then outside of that, like I also literally said this last week that BYU is a little fraudulent. And I
don't think
said
they're
the last
fraudulent. I think
the last 2 weeks it was a
didn't have the
one-score game,
juice.
one-score game, one-score game. I'm like, they're just waiting to lose a game, and then they did, like clockwork. They were just waiting to lose a game.
They had a smidge of a Mormon hangover. They were feeling themselves after soaking a week. Legs were a little light.
Yeah.
And they went home and just they were winning at one point in the game, had many opportunities to win that game and didn't. So you look at that, and then you look at teams like Mizzou. Mizzou
That's
came
another
back
one.
in the final seconds of that game in South Carolina. Looked like they had it won, and their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. So
South Carolina's late season game breaker. They've been playing their ass off the last like 3-4 weeks.
they're kind of that dark horse right now that might surprise some people. I don't know if they're going to get a playoff bid, but they
I think it's
look
too
like
late.
they could.
Yeah.
They could be a dinner ruiner, so to speak. They could come
Uh-huh.
in single-handedly and fuck shit up. They could be the diabolical drunk uncle on your Thanksgiving who just puts too many old Foresters away, and before you know it, you think, your aunt isn't who you think she is. And then you're like, oh boy. Oh boy.
she cheated on
That's-
me with the milkman.
That's South Carolina right there. That's South Carolina. You think I'm a gamecock. You just wait till you see me outside.
Yeah,
this
I
place.
wish your aunt was game for my cock. So Ohio State played Northwestern in Wrigley Field this week.
And nobody cares. All right,
It
keep
was
it moving.
No, it's cool. This is my point. It's a cool atmosphere to play in a baseball stadium. It's very weird. Looking at tickets, very weird because the whole baseball stadium is like end zone is home plate. The other side of the end zone is like third base area, and then it stretches out to right field. And they were selling left field seats for like $175. I'm like, you are an entire baseball field away from the from the field. Like you can't see anything from that corner.
Doesn't matter. Northwestern's getting their money.
I
let's face
agree,
it, all
but I'm
those
talking about
college
the.
kids just want
Do
to
you
get
not
wasted.
care about the fan, Mike? Do you not feel like there's something sacred about being a fan, as you are yourself?
Yeah, the problem with football, and I think most people will agree with this,
Better on
college is a
TV.
little different because you're going for the environment
Yeah.
and like the tailgate and like going to have a good time, having a couple drinks and enjoying yourself and, being amongst the locals. A great place to do that if you want the full Big Ten experience, IU or Wisconsin. Madison is an epic college town. 10
Or
out of 10 would recommend.
Michigan.
I've never been, so I can only
I'm
go
just
off
saying,
firsthand experience.
Do you ever see that stadium? Looks insane
Yeah, it can hold more people than anybody.
than any other stadium. Yeah.
150,000 plus. That's
Something
like
like
bucket
that, yeah.
list material. I'd love to
Yeah.
go to like Ohio State, Michigan. Before it's said and done, that would just truly be a bucket list item for me.
I'd be
If you're
down.
a college football fan, just that environment, or Penn State or any major in the Big Ten.
I heard
to
Happy
watch
Valley's very
Michigan
cool.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just truly be one of those experiences that you can't get anywhere else. The Big Ten's kind of known for that. But going to Wrigley Field, okay, for example, what your favorite lovelies are playing in New York next week,
Yep.
right?
Yankee Stadium. I'm also intrigued to see how that's set up because I feel like it's going to be the same thing, right?
I'm surprised Army isn't playing in Annapolis because that would be a fun home advantage for them. It's just kind of a goofy
that is
spot.
still no. So I guess Notre Dame and Army, and I didn't know this, play in Yankee Stadium every year.
Well, usually it's for like a bowl, but
Right.
this is okay. I'll take it.
It's technically a home game for Notre Dame. I think it probably will be too, because there's probably going to be more Notre Dame fans than Army fans out there, if we're going to be honest.
Because if you think of the Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they all have one thing in common.
Don't at all put Notre Dame as that team. Are you kidding me? That's Alabama, bro. That is totally 100% Alabama or Texas. That is crazy.
He's
or
really.
That's USC, if we're going to be fucking for real.
You see, okay.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying
go across the country.
Nostalgia
Go across
of
the country.
Nostalgia of best teams in the early 2000s that everybody was getting all horny about. You can't tell me that USC wasn't that team.
That's why I'm a fan, because I got horny as a kid.
Yeah, you fell victim to the Yankees and Cowboys trap. You did.
No.
You fell victim.
No,
you were like, oh,
Reggie
Reggie Bush is really cool. You were like, Derek Jeter hits really good balls. You're like, wow, look at Troy Aikman. He's so talented.
Payne. And for the record, USC athletics hasn't been shit since Sam Darnold, and that's almost 10 years ago. So
Yep.
I don't want to discuss that right now because it makes me sad. Notre Dame is that of the Midwest, though. So you can't deny
100%.
that.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I'm not saying nationally. You can't say that. You're just saying,
See
you
a
can't go down
lot
to Florida. You can't go down to Florida and say, who here likes Notre Dame? You can go down to Florida and say, who here likes the Cowboys and the Yankees? You're gonna find those guys around.
You see a lot of four-leaf clovers there, don't you?
Oh Christ, the sun's a bit hot for me today. I'm gonna go up to South Bend and have a good day today.
Yeah, well, either way, it was Ohio State pumped them. Back to your Northwestern talk. Ohio State just
they pumped them.
Okay.
As they should. Northwestern stinks this year. Colorado.
Okay, who cares? Another
Utah
game
has
like
been good and bad this whole year. Colorado keeps proving. Colorado is 16th in the nation. They're officially the second best team in the Big 12, maybe the best, depending on who you ask. Just saying, they're better than we thought they were going to be. Is that wrong?
They are who we thought they were. They're going to play Kansas.
They aren't who we thought they were. They're better.
No, they're not. They're
okay, but if you're saying that Utah sucks and then they're gonna play Kansas, like what's your argument? Because they have the same fucking record.
Yes, I think Kansas might be a sneaky game here because Kansas is really
Utah.
good at home, and they just beat completely different. Kansas is coming off of one of their biggest wins of the season. They just beat arguably the best team in the Big 12, the team that's still probably going to win the Big 12.
I don't know, man.
So Kansas just knocked off one of the best in the country, and they're about to play Colorado on Saturday, which I'm hyped to watch because I believe that game will be a great one. And I don't know if Colorado can go into Kansas, which is a gauntlet to play in Kansas.
In basketball, yeah.
No, that's so wrong.
Topeka, stand up.
Dude, they go ham sauce.
I know they do.
For their football, and especially if it's a K-State or in division or in conference game, this is going to be hype. So I'm stoked for this. I hope Kansas beats them just because I'm sick of the hype train around Colorado.
I know you are, but I don't see how it's any different than Utah. I really don't.
Utah is not that good. Utah
Kansas is
sucks
the same.
this year.
Kansas is the same as good as Utah is.
They are not.
Literally.
No.
Record-wise, their matchups
on
this
paper.
year. Their matchups this year are extremely similar.
Yes,
they just
but
had
you're
a good
disregarding
game.
recently
a
what
good
happened.
game. They had a good game.
They are underwhelmingly bad this year. They had higher expectations to be better in Kansas with all their Jalen Daniels and then their running back who's supposed to be a world beater. They have a team there that is good, and they are playing under their ability at this stage of the game, if you ask me. So I believe this game could be a trap game for Colorado, especially if they walk in thinking like they're just going to mop up the floors with them.
BYU Utah was a 1-point game.
That was how many weeks ago?
2, 3.
Hey, it's the battle for Utah.
This is what I was saying before. I was like, BYU goes to play Utah. They just scraped it away. They go into Kansas. They lose like this. If you're saying Colorado plays Utah and they shit pump them like this, I don't understand why they wouldn't be able to do that with Kansas too.
I don't see it. It's a road game. It's a tough environment, and environments matter. So the crowd's going to be loud. We'll see how Shedeur plays. The last big road game they played was Nebraska, and what happened?
Pissed down his leg.
Correct. So that's what I'm getting
happen.
at. Like, they haven't played a really tough road game in a long time. This is going to be a nice litmus test. Now, to your point, when you look across the country and you look at BYU now coming to the mountain/sunshine state, aka Arizona, that's going to be a great litmus test to see what they are. Because Arizona, ASU right now is dogging. So when you look at that game, that's another game in the same time frame at the 1:30, 2:30 time frame on Saturday afternoon that I'm going to be glued to because I think that's going to be an interesting matchup on both sides. We have an unranked matchup of Kansas and Colorado. Looking at that, that's going to be fun to watch.
Unranked?
Just to see what happens. Doesn't matter.
Colorado's ranked.
I get it, but I'm saying it's going to be another one. Ole Miss playing Florida. Florida just knocked off Brian Kelly and LSU. Can we talk about that for 3 seconds?
Yeah, but Brian Kelly in any rivalry game, he should have won that for any fucking reason.
Did you see he grabbed a kid by the face mask and
Do you
told
see
him,
why?
what the fuck are you doing? And he was like, you're uncoachable. No, what was the reasoning?
So, and it's funny. If you go back and watch these plays, this kid, every time the ball's thrown, he jumps. Doesn't matter where the ball is. It could be right in his chest, and he jumps up and then grabs it at his knees. And he's like, why do you keep fucking jumping? Stop jumping. You're uncoachable. And then someone put together a catch package, and there was a ball in the end zone that was like right here, and he jumps and goes like that. And he gets it on his chest. Like, the dude keeps jumping early, consistently jumping at the wrong time. John Boy did a breakdown. I suggest you guys go and watch that. But yeah, and then at the end of the game, Brian Kelly yelling at the refs, getting mad at them because they were still trying to score at the end of the game, even though it was like technically over. He was yelling at the refs. He's like, hey, tell him to stop bullying us. He's the worst. I hate Brian Kelly. I'm so happy he doesn't coach Notre Dame anymore. I feel bad for LSU because I like them, but they're not going to get anywhere with him. He sucks.
Crying Bryant's most likely out of Death Valley after the season.
Maybe one more year.
No, I mean, if they're so quick to quit on people, it wouldn't surprise me. You got Kurt Signetti, by the way, signing an 8-year deal.
Yeah, was it 8 or 10? Yeah, either way. But extensions of college football.
Yeah, they're taken with a grain of salt, but they asked him, what if somebody comes with a bigger offer? He said, we're building a powerhouse here at IU, and we are going to be the new face of the Big Ten. So if you want to
I'd love that.
I'm like,
I don't know if I believe it.
Why? Hey, this
money
weekend, perfect.
Trumps all, Michael. Money trumps all.
Yeah, that's true. Somebody's going to offer you a bag. I get it. But they seem like they know what they have there. Now, another game that gave me a smidge of a head scratcher and thinking, is this team really as good as they say they are?
A sign of pause?
Questioning. Huh?
It gave you a sign of pause. Is that what you're saying?
Gave me
Were
a
you
sign
like,
of
wait.
pause.
Oregon, Wisconsin?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I
dude.
agree.
It
But
they're not that good. Dylan Gabriel's not that good. I think they exposed a lot
you
there.
can't say that. They haven't
yes, I
lost a
can.
fucking game. They're like the only team that hasn't lost a game. You can't say that. If you're going to
IU
make
hasn't lost a game.
you just made an argument about BYU and they did lose a game right after that. You were like, that 1 point doesn't matter. They still beat them. Utah stinks. BYU's great. You can't do that.
I just think Oregon is overhyped, and I do believe
You said Kansas is a hard place to play.
Kansas will be a hard place to play for Colorado.
Guess what's probably harder to play at?
Wisconsin?
Madison, for sure, 100%.
Well,
I get that
that.
Oregon is first in the country, but I think this was more of a underestimate the opponent and get there and say, oh, fuck, situation. I think Oregon needed this.
They don't really play anybody the rest of the year. So when you look at their calendar, it's nothing that now it's like,
They already
oh,
got
yeah,
the big games out the way.
Yeah, so you got Washington, the week after Thanksgiving. They get a bye week now, nice late bye week. They get to hit the reset button, and then the playoffs are going to start in December. So overall, I look at this and I just say, all right, I have a very funny suspicion, though. Oregon's out the first round of the playoff.
No, you just really want that to happen because you've been rooting against them all year.
I don't want it to happen.
You don't like Dylan Gabriel, and this is your vendetta. I know it is.
This is not my vendetta.
Yes, it is, dude.
It's not a vendetta.
This has been all year. You're like,
I just wouldn't be surprised.
We go into the season, you're like, Oregon's not even going to be ranked by the end of the year, and now they're one in the nation.
Time out. There's always a team that goes into the playoff bigger on their britches than most.
I agree.
Last year, it was Georgia, right? Okay. Georgia got beat by Bama in the first round of the playoffs.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So, to my point, here's something that
Oregon loses in the quarterfinals because they're going to get a bye if they win the Big Ten.
That's true. I get that. I'm just saying I wouldn't see a scenario where they get to, maybe they play Ohio State. Maybe they play one of those top tier Big Ten schools in the playoff. It's just going to be interesting.
I personally feel like that team is more likely to be Texas than it is to be Oregon.
And then Texas is a whole other jar of worms to open here because they were drag racing Arkansas there for a little bit on Saturday, and then they pulled away. But they should not be beating Arkansas by 10 points. They should be beating Arkansas by 25 points.
It's that time of the year.
It's almost the most wonderful time of the year, Vince. But now as we look forward.
Well, who's a blow a team out team right now? I don't think we have one team that would just blow anybody out. Like people said that about Georgia, and you can't say about Georgia. They keep losing the fucking games.
Well, so Georgia just beat Tennessee pretty decisively,
which was good,
and at home. Which
I think they do belong in the playoff, but there's still people saying that Georgia's clearly the best team in the country. How could you possibly make that claim? Like they lose
Smart?
big. Yeah, but they lost big games.
They lost two big games. And
2 big games.
Once again, you go back to the environment. Ole Miss always gets one big win. They also had some big losses this year. I mean, you look at Kentucky, you look at LSU. So
there's so many teams that have 2 losses, though. I know they're the best one, but there's so many teams that are equivalent to them right now.
Every dog has their day, brother.
Yeah.
It's just simply that method. And I don't think Carson Beck is that bad.
I don't think he's good either.
But I don't know if the team around him is playing to the level that he is. Because he's a very good quarterback.
Yeah, but he gives the ball away a lot.
Yeah, he didn't last week.
Yeah, that was surprising. Tennessee's defense.
Yeah, great game. The offensive line was healthy for once in a long time.
OSU, can you take notes?
Yeah, right. So when you look at this, our offensive line is healthy. They got a running game moving. Carson Beck throws for 347 yards and 2 touchdowns. They start to incorporate the tight end and a little motion going here.
Yeah.
I don't think for a second that it's been Georgia's issue all along that they haven't performed in some tight ones. I just think it's who's healthy and turnovers. I think that's always what it's going to boil down to, regardless of a team that's competing for a title.
In any matchup, yeah.
But that's broad. I do believe, though, Georgia's on the straight and narrow. And now as you start to look at their strength of schedule for the rest of the year, they're definitely going to be in play to win the SEC. It's
Certainly.
just now.
I just don't think it's a given like it has been in the last couple of years.
Well, who knows? That last game of the year, they got a Georgia battle with Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech surprised a lot of people this year. So
you know who beat them? Ho ho!
Hey, how you doing? Okay, so Vince, as we look
how you
forward to
doing?
this, how you doing?
How you doing?
So as we look forward to this week,
Yeah.
you got your Notre Dame, Our Lady, out there at Army. What's your predictions? Are you betting on a lot of scoring, or are you betting on just defense and ground and pound?
I'm not touching this at all as far as monetarily, like usual, because Notre Dame is impossible to bet on. But in my heart of hearts, my bet is ground and pound, defense till it dies situation. Lots of triple option, maybe a couple of jet sweeps, and then just big boys up the middle. Just run it until you can't run it no mo. Last week, and, grain of salt overall, because Florida State's not very good and Virginia's not very good, but Riley Leonard started to throw the ball a little bit better recently, and you have to appreciate that. I'm thinking, quarterback spies playing a lot of cover 2, cover 3s. They should be able to dice it up a little bit more. I think it's going to be a 2-score game at the end of it. Notre Dame's gotten a little accustomed to just blowing teams out the last couple weeks, so I think it's good every now and then to have a team play a game that's a little bit closer. So that would be my bet on it. But I think it's going to be fun. The atmosphere is going to be cool at Yankee Stadium. Please win the game. That's my biggest takeaway.
I think they're going to win the game. I do believe it's going to be very, very close. And
Yeah.
I would definitely hammer the under if I'm a betting man, because this game is just going to be fighting
but
for
Notre
third
Dame
place.
scores a lot now.
Yeah, they're going to face a difficult defense.
Pick six, though.
What do you mean by that?
Notre Dame had like 3 different calls called back last week where there were 43 plus yards that were all taken to the house, and then it was like defensive holding, and it's like, that's horse shit. Like, their defense is on a whole different level right now. They're going crazy on it. So if they try to air
play
it
a
out,
goofy team like Army that
I know.
runs triple option, it kind of all goes out the window.
I know, it's gonna be a lot of running.
And if it ran well,
hey,
it's going to be fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
Now the real question is, what's the weather going to be in the Bronx on Saturday?
I don't know.
That's the real question. If it's like this rainy shit mist that I'm about to approach here, or I'm already in.
45, and so the Bronx is going to be partly cloudy, 51 degrees, 10%
Football
precipitation. Weather. That's very, very, very very football weather, Midwestern football weather. Yeah, Northeast. It shouldn't be too difficult. I know, but that's what Midwest football, when you start practicing, and it's like 51. Yeah.
Okay. Now we shift our focus to Ohio State. Could be the battle for the Big Ten right here. We got IU going in. Come on, Vince. What are your thoughts? Are they going to hoosh? Are they going to hoosh up there in the bowl?
11 a.m., Mike. Really? We're doing this with this fucking matchup? We're doing 11 a.m.
These kids are going to start drinking at like 8 a.m. So
what are we doing? Why are we doing this, guys?
Because they got to have a great early game in the docket. Now, the real problem is when you go
kickoff bullshit is so annoying. There's always a huge game at 11 a.m. What are we doing? Put those at 7 p.m. Put frickin' UMass and Georgia at 11 a.m. because Georgia's just going to destroy them anyway. Like, what are we doing? I don't get it.
No, you got to put Pat McAfee there, hammered down.
Yeah. I don't even know who's doing. Is that on ESPN? I don't think it is.
I'm assuming.
I think Big Noon Kickoff's Fox, I think. College Game Day is ESPN.
College Game Day. Hey, Siri. What week are we in now?
Hold on. I'm just going to look it up. I think, because they went to...
Yep, College Game Day, Indiana, Ohio State. Because
they're going to be in Columbus. Okay.
Yeah, so to the point, you have to have Pat McAfee there going hammered down,
dumb.
Kicking field goals, making everybody scream.
Yeah,
right? It's going to happen.
There's been a lot of bias going around on the internet right now and I agree with people hating on him, that it's like, Indiana was a good story. They'll lose this game by 40 and then it's over. Fuck you, dude. Why are you rooting for it? There's so many people that get so afraid of Cinderella stories in college football, and they're always like, when the rubber meets the road, Georgia's going to beat everybody or Texas is going to beat everybody. Fuck you, dude. Go Indiana. Fuck Ohio State. It's always been that way. Do I think they're going to dominate them? No. Do I think Ohio State's probably going to win? Yeah. But Ohio State's offensive line is a little fucked up right now. They're a little weak right now. And Indiana's defensive line, all those JMU boys are coming in here, and they might be able to run amok. And if that happens, it could be anybody's game. It very well could.
This is their largest competition, best
By
competition
far,
they played all year. So
yes,
the lights have not been brighter, even though it's a day game, and more Midwest football weather will be present. So it's going to be either in the 40s or the 50s, and it's going to be cloudy and potentially raining. So
come on, Indiana. Come on.
I would love to see it. I'm an underdog king, but I just think Ohio State's very good. And, I mean, Howard's playing his ass off right now. So I know you don't like him. See, Vince has a vendetta against Ohio State.
I do, for sure.
And I have
yes,
a vendetta against Oregon.
Yes,
so
clearly.
There you go.
Right.
Now, are there any other games?
Fuck the Big Ten.
Fuck the Big Ten. Now,
that?
Kentucky goes to Texas. Are they playing spoiler here?
Texas better smoke them. Quinn Ewers is fully healthy now. Texas better smoke them. That's all I'm saying.
And then the final of the night game, you got Alabama, Oklahoma. Can't wait.
Yeah, Alabama's going to destroy them.
Take a nap.
Yeah, take a nap late in the night and just go to bed early. Projected CFB playoff bracket really quick before we move on. Right now, Boise State, Oregon, Miami, Texas all get the byes. So they've all won their respective conferences, meaning that the Big 12 doesn't get a bye because their team isn't good. Their top team isn't that good, which would be funny. And then we got BYU, Ohio State. Ohio State wins that in a rout, in my opinion. Alabama, Notre Dame is horrifying, but also neutral site in a dome. Not the best.
That would be
Alabama
a hell of a game to watch.
Alabama at Notre Dame on January whatever in South Bend. Putting Jalen Milroe in a snowy South Bend. I kind of like our chances a little bit. It changes it up a little bit given the weather,
Well, that's the real question. Is this going to be Sorry, had a lot of things happening there.
Just gaseous.
Is this going to be a neutral site game?
No. All these games going up to it are all home games for the respective home teams. So,
man, Alabama,
in
January.
In the snow? When's the last time you saw Alabama play in the snow? Not me, dude.
That would be a game of games. It's
a
different element. And then Ole Miss at Indiana, if that's real, that would be truly insane. When does the playoffs start?
I want to say after the conference championships. There's like 1 week after that where Army Navy plays, and then it gets going.
That's it. Okay. It's going to be interesting to pay attention to, man. This is where
just don't lose Notre Dame. Please, for the love of God, just don't lose.
Well, what's the story usually every year, Vince? Notre Dame plays really well in the regular season, and then they get beat by a team in the SEC.
Yeah, but that's Brian Kelly. This is Marcus Freeman. We lose games we really should win and win games that we really shouldn't. That's the MO. So that's why I feel like we're going to win this. Yeah, I just, fingers crossed, knock on wood.
If you had a perfect national championship looking at this board right now, what is it?
Can I include my boys?
If you would like to, go right ahead.
That's perfect for me.
If there's a road for them to get there, sure.
Notre Dame, Miami. It's the battle.
What
it's the battle
1987 are we doing?
I know. It's the battle of my childhood best friend, Sean. Shout out to you. Love you, kid. The color combinations would be sick. The blue and the gold versus the orange and the green, and high flying offense versus ironclad defense.
So you just want the Catholics versus the convicts.
Yep.
Just That's
I
what
want-
you're hoping for.
I want offense versus defense, and Miami's all offense, and Notre Dame's majority defense.
Okay. Interesting thoughts. I'm still very surprised that they have Texas winning the SEC, which
Yeah.
just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So if I had to guess, Georgia will take the SEC, and you may see a flip-flop here of Texas, which this came out when Georgia was at 11 and now Georgia's 8. So it's going to vary week to week. But if I had a thought process,
No, this
If
isn't
I had
their this isn't their rankings. Like this isn't their.
I know this is if we
this
were
is
the
what
season
the
ended
playoff
today.
seed. It was if the playoffs was seeded. Yeah.
I think we're going to get the national championship we should have had 2 years ago, which was Ohio State and Georgia.
Oh,
And
I'll just turn it
that,
off
and I
and
know
not
that's
watch
not what
it.
anybody wants to hear,
I'll just turn it off and not watch it.
but I do believe that's going to be Ohio State and Georgia, and
Are you
Georgia's
rooting for
my
that?
pick. What?
Are you rooting for that matchup?
I'm rooting for the best game possible because I'm tired of
That would
watching a national
suck.
championship game that's an absolute stinker.
That's why we're doing this, though, right? It'd be fun to see like
Well-
an Oregon versus Georgia, Oregon, Texas. That'd be cool too. But
Ideally, it would be cool, but I mean, hey, last year was the first year, you saw two teams not in the SEC make it to a national championship, and Washington with Penix at the helm.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
he got in the
but
game, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw
Not too
that,
bad.
and he's okay.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Kirk Cousins always has a stretch of games in a season where he just looks like absolute
I
poo,
know.
and you
I
don't
know.
get it. And you don't get
Yeah.
it. But to stay on topic, that's my prediction. Maybe a team like
I hope you're wrong. Oh,
maybe a
Ohio
team
State,
like
Georgia would
Alabama or an Ole Miss or an Indiana sneaks in here, but I
hey, speaking about the opposite of good uniform matchups, Ohio State, Georgia. Ugh.
once
Red
I
and
wear the
black
black
versus
unis.
red and gray. It's just like, okay, get out of here. Seen enough of that.
Classics. But I do believe that's what this is going to say. But hey, remember who talked to you first episode of the season of college football, that this guy by the name of Ashton Jenny was
You did.
elite, and he might win a Heisman. Not saying he's the best player
He's
in the
not
country.
gonna.
That's Travis
I want
Hunter.
him to.
Travis
He's
Hunter,
not gonna though. He's already lost it,
Yeah.
I think.
He's so good. He's
But
going to
you
play
were
on
right.
Sunday.
For
He's
sure.
gonna play on
He's
Sunday.
he's probably second rounder, maybe first if someone wants to reach for him. But we all thought it was going to be Allie Gordon, but goddamn it, Ashton Genty. So even with the bad Oregon pick, you had the good Ashton Genty pick. Those things cancel each other out, and we're at medium, my guy.
I said Oregon was going to be good. I just didn't think they could beat
No, you
Ohio
didn't.
State, and Ohio State shot
No, you
themselves in
didn't.
the
You
foot.
said they might not even be ranked by the end of the year. That's what you said.
See,
And now-
Vince always goes back and reminds me of my shortcomings.
And now
I'll
they're
remind
number
him about
one,
his
Mike.
egregious bad takes. Vince said he wanted to clip something up today of Mike talking about. What was I talking about, Vince? You wanted to clip up something.
Plenty, honestly. I forgot what we were talking about entirely. It's probably good for your own sake.
It could be a whole episode of Mike arguing with his former takes to new takes,
That's what it's.
which is
that's,
so much fun of the week.
I'm the same way. That's the point of doing this, because at some point someone will be like, "You're a hypocrite." It's like exactly. That's
As
why
long
we
as
do
we're
it.
not Mad Dog Russoing, then
No,
we're fine.
yeah,
As long as we're not like, I will quit podcasting forever
yeah.
if Ohio State doesn't make it to the national championship.
Hey,
No.
looks like I'm not getting malaria, so we're all right there.
Yeah, Vince is definitely not getting malaria. Speaking of which, let's talk a little bit of NBA.
We're playing basketball. We're talking basketball. Hey, come on. Yeah, that's right. It's basketball time, and I'm by myself because Mike's getting on a flight. So let me tell you a little about basketball. Couple stories here. Tyrese Maxey confronts Joel Embiid for being late to everything and challenged the former MVP to be on time for team activities going forward. Maxey described how Embiid's lateness impacts the locker room from the players to the coaching staff, which leads me to think, hey, how are the 76ers doing this year? Well, they're 2-11 right now. They have a 154 percentage. They are 2-7 in the conference. They've lost 4 straight. All they have right now is Jared McCain, unfortunately, and they're not looking good. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? Probably by the end of the year, but overall, if you are currently worse than the Raptors, Bucks, Wizards, and Hornets, you have an issue, especially because the Hornets ended up benching LaMelo Ball for the last, 4 minutes of the game the other day when they clearly could have won. They were down a couple possessions. They were down 3 at the end of the game. They subbed out 9 different people in and out and never put LaMelo back into the game. Troubles are brewing in Philadelphia. Are they going to get together? You got to hope. Paul George technically playing worse than Tobias Harris did last year as well. So you're looking at a team that has considerable dysfunction and a coach that doesn't coach him hard enough. So they have a soft coach, a star that doesn't want to participate. He says that his drive is too far, and that's why he's late to everything. I think that's a crock of shit. He gets paid way too much for that to be an issue. On the other hand, Cleveland Cavaliers, 15-1 now. You heard us talk about that awesome frog that follows them around and dances with them. They've had some crazy wins, only to lose to the Boston Celtics in the NBA Cup. Listen, they're probably going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe, at this point. If you look at the East right now, the standings are abysmal. I mean, you got the Magic without Paolo Banchero, which is not a good team, and they should probably regress at some point until /when/if Paolo Banchero gets back. Leading after that, you got the Knicks, you got the Hawks, who are questionable, but 7-8. So the top 4 teams are the only ones with positive winning percentages. I understand you're 16 games into the season, give or take. That ain't going to do you too well. Cavaliers, Celtics, clearly the cream of the crop out in the Eastern Conference. And the Warriors are really good. The Thunders are really good. And the Lakers, starting, 0-4, 1-4, and ends up 10-4 now, given on a white-hot shooting from Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect is maybe what the Lakers need. They're probably going to get injured at some point. LeBron James is playing like an absolute monster. Anthony Davis is playing at an MVP level this year, somehow, so far. Again, 16, 14 games in, whatever it is. Things can change. But Austin Reeves plays better in JJ Redick's current setup, the way the team runs, their offense, their defense. And Dalton Connect is very good. And Bronny James isn't on the team crowding up a spot, which is also important. So, all in all, that's all of the NBA. Quick thought on the NBA Cup. I know Mike's not here to refute me, but I don't think he would disagree with me anyway. It's really hard to watch basketball on those courts because they are colored all crazy, and I know it's supposed to get casual fans to come in here and watch it, but I can't figure out how to watch it without my eyes freaking out because the NBA courts for the NBA Cup stink, and Adam Silver has a regression on his hands for the amount of people watching the games. That's going to probably fix itself once it becomes hotter. So that's basketball. Let's move on to football.
Let's transition to some NFL work, shall we?
Football, yeah!
All the footballs. So, Vince, we look at the record week over week. Vince took a small lead here. Should have faded Mike past weekend.
Yeah, not your best showing this week. 7-7.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, hey, you've been beating me all year. I have to take wins where I get them.
There's always a week like this that he shows that he's not as bad as he.
Because we did end up tying last week, even though I took credit for fucking up badly, and we ended up tying 9-5. So okay. This week 10-4 though. This is a different ball game. The record so far through week 11 is 99-67 for Mike, 98-68 for Vince here. So it's anybody's bowl game.
Vince chose the Packers like a little Packer.
I told you I had to.
Well, maybe you fucking mushed them, Vince. You ever think of that? Maybe you would have picked them.
You think I mushed them? We've been picking the Bears every
You fucking mushed them.
Every week.
You fucking mushed them.
No shot.
You fucking mushed them.
Do you remember what I said when we were picking them? I said, I have to play both sides here. I don't think they're going to win.
Come on, Kryptonite.
They're not going to.
Come on,
it's fucking,
Hang in there.
The problem with it, I'm going to have to. I'm taking the Vikings this week, too. I'm saying that off the bat here. I'm taking the Vikings.
I'm not.
It's good for you.
I'm excited. All right.
I need to get a game back. Let's talk about the Bears first.
Let's talk about the Bears therapy session. Okay. Let's start with some positives.
I was going to say positive mental attitude, then move to negative. Please.
Okay. Positives. So let's start with the positives. Offense looked a lot better.
Yes. Thomas Davis, dog.
Thomas Davis
Thomas
looks
Brown.
to be
Thomas Brown.
Thomas Brown, Davis
Dude,
Brown.
I called him Thomas
Tom
Davis
Davis.
last week too. Not the
Tom
former
Davis Brown.
not the former
Pick a color,
Panthers
pick a Davis.
linebacker. Not
That's
the
our Bears
linebacker.
offensive coordinator.
Brown. Yes.
That's
okay.
that's my OC.
Yeah.
So with that, it looks like the offense was broken down nicely for Caleb. It looks like he went from like the largest textbook possible and him being responsible for an entire offense to now being like, here, we gave you the kids menu.
Yeah.
Now just run with the
Simplified.
kids menu.
Simplified.
And they were running RPOs, shit that he did really well in college. I think they got Lincoln Riley on the phone and they were like, all right, what does he
What's
like
up?
to do?
Yeah. Because he doesn't have enough on his plate right now. But I do, to that point too, yes. Also, if you can't find something and if you have an open lane, run the ball. Yeah, do it. Good call. Be multidimensional. Another piece of that too is they're not clearly throwing the ball when they're throwing the ball, meaning that the offensive line doesn't have to just steadfast stand and stop dudes for 40 minutes in a game. They're giving them more time to run through a defender instead of sitting back on their heels and just trying to stop them. I like that a lot. You saw a couple Braxton Jones plays where you're like, that's the guy I thought you were when we were freaking out about him being so bad. A lot of good came out of this. Some bad, a lot of good. A lot of good. Caleb looked a lot better.
Caleb looked like he was comfortable. Caleb looked like he was wanting to put the ball in my hands. Let me lead this team. And that's
Did you
great.
more
to
body
see.
language.
Great body language.
Positive.
Not only that, it looks like these guys are kind of on the same sheet of music. I watched an interview today with the press from DJ Moore, and basically he said, yeah, that's what we thought we were going to be able to do all season. So overall, they need to score more points, and I think we'll start to see that a little bit more. We have a solid test coming up here that we'll get into shortly. But overall, Caleb, 23 of 31, 231 yards, leans a lot on the running game in the red zone. I wish we could really get some bigger pop plays. He missed one really big throw to Roma Dunze down the right hash that looked to be it. And if he just put a little bit more air under that football, that's 6. Tom was announcing this game. So when Tom is there, I'm present. But Rome had a great game. 6 receptions. Take it easy. 6 receptions, 65 yards for Roma Dunze. DeAndre Swift looked great, but man, Roschon Johnson really seems to be the guy.
DeAndre groin. You see this?
What?
Missed practice today. Groin issue.
Ooh.
Might not have him this week. Roschon getting some carries. Khalil Herbert gets one with the Bengals, by the way. So he hit the field finally this year. Yeah, okay. What a concept. Roschon Johnson, more of a power back. You're close on the goal line. What do? You don't run Doug Kramer. You don't run a screen pass across the field. You run Roschon Johnson up the fucking gut and good things happen. Wow. Wow, what a concept.
I look at this game and we left some points on the field, no doubt.
Yes.
I feel like we need to start taking some shots when they're presented. It just feels like we're getting back to basics, which is good for Caleb right now because he's proven he's a solid quarterback, and I do believe he will be very good in this league. I agree. He's going through his lumps right now, and this needs to happen. I do think he's going to have a brand new head coach next year, and at this stage, it's undeniable because I don't know how you look at this team. I don't know how you look at this team and say Matt Eberflus is it because he's not. The time management
as a fan
is atrocious.
No. You know how the Bears function. There is a non-zero chance that they play a little bit better to end the season. They blame it all on Shane Waldron and Eberflus is here again because they don't want to repeat the past like everybody's talking about. I would hate that, but there's a non-zero chance they do that.
I believe we thought for the longest time that Justin Fields was going to remain the quarterback. So I do believe that they see it. Now, if you understand the cycles of media, a lot of different rags have requested interviews with not only Brian Poles, but Kevin Warren. They've all declined on this whole Eberflus issue. I think we all know what the issue is. He doesn't have a winning record.
I know, but
He's not it. This is after 3 years. You can't continue to lean on mediocrity. You need a change. Now,
you're not convincing me though. Like, they do dumb shit, Mike. We've seen this happen a lot.
but dude, it's been 12 years, 3 head coaches. What are we doing now? We need to go get a proven commodity, not named John Fox, not named Doug Peterson.
But
we need
they
to
don't
go get
hire a Ben Johnson or a Vrabel or a Belichick or anybody that has balls. They don't do it.
I don't want Belichick. I want a young, proven commodity that knows how to coach an offense and that can bring in the defensive pieces, because this is an offensive-driven league and you have the weapons. And let's say Keenan Allen isn't here next year. That's fine. Good
He's
riddance.
not going to be. Yeah.
Go draft a slew of offensive linemen. Give this kid the protection he deserves. You have some good defensive pieces, even though Montez Sweat doesn't look to be the play. He's been playing hurt all year. Numbers
he's
suck
not
ass.
Yeah.
So when you look at this, maybe a guy sitting out there in Cleveland who's won Coach of the Year 2 separate times, Kevin Stefanski, decides to
I'm
come
not against
in.
it.
That would be epic. There's also talks right now that Kyle Shanahan.
No, not
Shanahan's.
No,
they're saying the
fucking
hot seat is on
shots.
Shanahan. Which,
No
if you're a
shot
49er
in
fan,
fucking
first and
hell.
foremost,
I knew
just
you were going to say that.
look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. If you're a 49er fan, do me a solid. Look in the mirror and start putting on a clown makeup.
Yeah.
Because for anybody to come up with that statement, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Because that guy has led you to nothing but greatness. And it's astounding to me that is even coming out in any sort of journalism rag. That's
the Bears
ridiculous.
had no interest in hiring Mike Shanahan when they could have.
Kyle Shanahan?
Mike. When Mike was available, they had no interest in doing that, and I believe they're going to follow suit in the same thing. And even if he did become available, they would interview him, la-di-da. He would ask for too much, and they'd be like, you can't come in here and control us. We're the family that started this team. And then they're going to lollygag into another fucking almost making the playoff defensive coordinator like they did with Eberflus. You remember that season they hired him? The Colts lost to the Jaguars, didn't make the playoffs, and they're like, let's hire that guy. That's literally what they did. They're gonna do that shit again.
Why can't we just hire a proven
list.
commodity?
I know.
Why can't we just hire
list.
a proven guy?
Yeah, but we're not. We're gonna hire Ron Rivera. Like some shit
Okay,
like that.
actually, I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't.
When has he been good except for one time, once?
Carolina with Cam.
One time, once. That's it.
Well, you would get a little hyped if they did it. Either that or
No,
it'd
but
just
he
be
was
like
bad.
the most Bears
He was
shit
bad
ever.
in Washington and like Snyder and like all the shitty owners hire Ron Rivera as a head coach because he's easy to deal with.
Football guy. He's the
He's easy to
nicest
deal
guy
with.
ever. I met Ron
Right.
Rivera when I was 16 at the auto show, and he's like,
That's
the
what I'm saying. He
nicest
seems
dude
like
ever.
he seems like a great guy. I don't necessarily want a great guy as I want a psychopath. I want Jim Harbaugh or Sean McVay. I want some asshole psychopath that's going to take care of business.
I want Dan Campbell. I don't give
Me
a shit
too.
if you
hey,
got.
psychopath, right there.
I don't care if you have one finger or 3 toes. I will still beat your ass.
Yeah,
Which is the greatest line in football history.
that's what the
Now-
line's been doing.
Back to this game. So what I didn't understand is in the week prior when we played the Cardinals here,
Yeah.
when Vince was in Arizona.
Well, 2 because they played the Patriots and lost 13.
Oh yeah, that's right. I just totally blocked that out of my mind.
Fuck
so
that
2 weeks
game,
ago, 2 weeks ago when they lose in Arizona, they got called on a field goal try.
Yeah.
That they illegal touching to the snapper.
Because if his head is
Okay.
looking down, then you can't hit him. Supposedly.
Now, let's
Yep.
fast forward 2 weeks. The Bears, horrible clock management, decide to kick a field goal on 3rd down.
You saw what happened in the Chargers-Bengals game, did you?
2 missed field goals, absolutely horrible.
Well, no, at the end, when Harbaugh could have kicked a field goal there, and he's like, well, let's run another play. Let's run it and see what happens. J.K. Dobbins touchdown. Oh, it's like, do we have more time for another play? Oh, I think we did. Holy shit. What
and we had a timeout in our back pocket. We could have gone turbo.
Should we run our premium fucking running back that we've had, that we've been running that has been pretty good one time just to see and maybe make it a little bit closer? Would that be a good idea? No, we got to sit here and wait to kick the ball because there's no way that's not going in.
It's sad.
That's the difference between John Harbaugh and Matt Eberflus.
Jim Harbaugh.
And then, both technically, because John Harbaugh knows the fuck he's doing too. But then, and then to your point, everybody that listens to the show knows that I hate like blaming shit on refs. I don't like doing that. It's like, let the game happen between the lines. Sometimes refs make egregious calls. I get it. That one, number one, we shouldn't have put it into the ref's decision to make that an issue. They should have at least ran another one and tried it and changed the game pace. That was ridiculous because if you watch back on that film, it is an onslaught through the middle. Who blocks the kick right through the middle over the long snapper? Where did the long snapper go after that? No one knows. He's under all of them because they all attacked him. You have to call that.
I believe the Chicago Bears have put in a submittal for some sort of a reconciliation of that call. They put it into the officials to say, okay, admit you fucked up, please.
Yeah, but
basically,
what does that do?
They'll do. It just basically the official committee or the union comes back and says, yep, we fucked up.
Whoopsies.
Okay,
you still lost the game. It's so...
They're not like they're going to pull them. All right, put them all back out on the field. Same scenario. Don't touch the long snapper. Now let's see if Kairos can hit it. All right, Kairos, no pressure. Hit that fucking thing.
Yeah, it's... by all intents and purposes, I went into this game like there's no reason to believe anymore. It's going to be fine. Just watch the game as it is. And they did exactly what they shouldn't have done and made me fucking believe. I started feeling good, and then I'm like, holy shit, we're going to win this game. And then it happened, and I was like, yep.
Caleb with that drive started in his own end zone, and he drove all the way into field goal territory, made some really good throws, some long 3rd and 20. I'm like, no shot.
That was crazy. What a dart.
Just the kid is impressive, and he has what it takes, and he willed that team into a position to win, and we couldn't seal it for him. And 2 separate games this year that happens, where you look at the record and you should be 6-6 or 6-4, not 4-6. And
two plays and it's flopped.
I mean, it's so insane to me. 2 plays are the balance of a season where you could potentially be in playoff discussions or not even be close.
Exactly. When we are on the other side because bad management. That's not a player issue. That's bad management.
Bad coaching.
I know,
bad
but
player management. It's bad coaching. It's bad time management. It's bad
just top down.
Everything. So as we move forward, we have the Titans.
Vikings.
Vince, your thoughts on this game? I mean, let's just get after it.
I wish we had the Titans. I wish we had the Titans.
The Vikings.
We had the Vikings way harder. I don't think the Vikings are as good as they were in the beginning of the year. I think there's holes. I think that Mr. Thomas Brown is looking at that Brian Flores defense, and they've found some holes, and they're going to try to exploit that. Also, a side note, Tom Pelissero did a piece today. I think it was on Eisen. It might not. Thomas Brown might be a head coaching candidate, is what he said. Don't know how that's possible. Chill out.
Let's
chill out with that, because he also took over the offense for Frank Reich last year and Bryce Young. That didn't go too well. So, all that being said, I don't think it's impossible we win this game. Knowing the Bears, they will win this game, and then all of a sudden we're going to be like, maybe we got some juice here, and then that's when the maybe Eberflus stays conversation starts happening, and then everybody's going to get pissed. So, I think they can win it, but I'm not going to take them to win. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm leaning there. I think Caleb's going to see the most aggressive defense he's seen all year next to the Texans. I think they're going to throw a lot of goofy looks at him, and he needs to piece through it. And I just hope that they simplify this game for him, lean on the running game. If I'm a bet
get rid of the ball.
If I'm a betting man, I'm going to take the under, and hopefully we can put some pressure on Sam Darnold. Otherwise, he is going to probably pull us together and piece us apart a little bit. You have any NFL QB? It is Sam Darnold. He's still Sam Darnold. He's proven he's Sam Darnold, but they have a winning record, so let's not forget that. All right, let's get into our last week picks, shall we?
Yep.
So let's break it down. We had the Commies and the Eagles.
Eagles are pretty good. Eagles are pretty good, dude.
And Jaden Daniels had his kind of. All right, everybody tamper the expectations on this young fella.
He had his I'm human game, which
correct
if you're a Washington Commanders fan, this probably is kind of a good sign. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is a good sign saying like, hey, like all of it isn't going to go great. It didn't go great for them, but even that being a bad stat line is like a pretty decent day for a Bears quarterback. So you can't get that mad at him about that. I just think the Eagles are really good. I think Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the NFL now. I mean, you could go back and forth between him and Derrick Henry, but he's just on a fucking tear. Eagles, if they're healthy, I've been saying this. Do you remember like the Nick Sirianni fire him shit earlier in the season?
I didn't believe that.
I know. I didn't think
coach.
it was going to happen. I just thought it was Philly going crazy. Now they're 8-2, man. Now they're considerably in charge of the NFC East, and I don't see him losing it.
I don't see him losing it either. I mean,
They're
this was a game where you look at the standings and you go, okay, this could be a balance for the division, but no shot.
That was the whole point. I mean, it goes the other way, they're tied. It went this way, and now the Eagles got a 2-game, and the rest of the division ain't very good. So,
Yeah,
you think, I mean, one doesn't have a quarterback, and the other one doesn't have a quarterback, so you're good to go either way.
Eagles division's really good, and not only that, but it goes to show you what a real defense looks like for Mr. Jaden Daniels, because any real defense he plays, like the Ravens.
Who runs that Eagles defense, Mike? Do you know? Yeah, bring him back. Always a good defense. Always is. Can't head coach. Always good defense.
Very good defensive guy, and not only that, but he's got some glass eaters. Half that Georgia defense, and then you got two of the whitest DBs on the planet back there.
God damn it, it works.
It does. It fucking works. You love to see it. Now, the Dolphins, to attack the Bluey, looking good.
You know how to say his name at this point.
Yeah, I do it on purpose. But Tua looks good.
Are so much better with him. He's the most valuable player in the NFL. I said this last week. He's not going to win the award, but he is. They're so helpless without him, and they're very good with him.
Is Jonnu Smith just maybe, the best tight end in all of football right now? Because the guy looks like a world beater.
He's got wide receiver size. He looks like a wide receiver with like
the past
a couple
2
extra.
weeks.
Yeah. This offense hums with Tua. As long as he's not trying to make ridiculous tackles, it should be all right. All of that being said, this is the Raiders, and the Raiders are bad. The Raiders are really bad. I think the Dolphin season's already technically over, kind of, unless they can really run the table, because 6 losses and however many wins that is, 11-6? Is it 17 games now? 18 weeks, 17 games?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if they go 11-6, like they're a playoff team, but I don't think they're going to go undefeated the rest of the year. But I think they're good. And this is another, I saw this tweet the other day, another example of a good coach, bad team. Whether
I agree
it's
with that.
Injuries, whether it's like McDaniel, good coach. Kevin Stefanski, good coach. Somebody said McCarthy, not a good coach. Don't care what anybody says about that. There's a lot of examples of that, though, of good coaches on bad teams right now.
Yeah, I like McDaniel. I think he's good, and the Dolphins might sneak into a playoff spot. We'll see.
They could. I mean, they are 4-6, but that division is easy peasy right now.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's keep it moving. Vince, the Saints, maybe found something there.
How long is this going to keep going? I was surprised by this for sure. Interim head coach continues to go well. What's his name again? Darren Rizzi. Thank you. That's what I needed. Jameis Winston, can't blame it on him, man. Jameis is going off.
You can. He's okay.
395 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Vince.
Holy shite. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, Nick Chubb's coming out slow.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy, 142 receiving yards this week. I mean, he was launching the ball all over the field.
When you get a lot of points scored on you, though, it's difficult. So.
You got to make stops. Defense didn't look good for the Browns. This has to end for the Saints at some point. They're still not a good team.
We'll see. They got a bye week. So they got a week to get right.
Maybe that's bad, though.
I don't know if it's bad, Vince. It's never bad to have a bye week.
That's not true. When's the last? Okay, let's talk about the Bears season.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, that's the perfect example. To
Jaguars.
Bring up when
this
you're not
is great.
Dun,
dun, dun. Arizona. New England. Packers. They've just been
Let's not
shitting
relate
since then.
everything back to the factory of sadness known as the Bears.
That's true.
But
But
the
Browns and
Saints-
Bears are a pretty good combination of teams.
Jameis, though, doing what Jameis does, throws a
He's
lot.
a dog. He
Looks
deserves to be
good.
a Hall of Famer. I don't care what anyone says.
I don't know about all that. All right, let's talk about the what's sadder, the Jets fall from grace, thinking that they could just go out and make it like, oh yeah, we're just gonna get one guy. It's gonna take all of our problems all over.
Yeah, the Jets is sadder. Aaron Rodgers unlikely to return now. They lose by 1 to the Colts, falling to 3-8 on the season. A disposition on Woody Johnson came out today, which I thought was very crazy.
From who? Who wrote it?
It was, I forgot. It was maybe The Athletic. I don't really remember. But a couple key notes on here. Woody Johnson supposedly has been going wild card rogue over all of the decisions made this year. He obviously made the decision to get Aaron Rodgers. That was clear. Joe Douglas gets like GM of the year or whatever, or GM of the offseason, or he won an award for all the people they brought in. Didn't work out. He fired Robert Saleh without talking to Joe Douglas. He fired Joe Douglas this week. He's the one that made the decision on the Aaron Rodgers stuff. And then week 3 this year, he wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers. And they didn't end up doing it. It's factory of dysfunction. It's Mets, Jets. It's Sox, Bears. It's the same shit.
I think
Brutal.
Rodgers will just retire and call it after this. And
I heard going to the Giants, and I thought that was funny.
No, he's done. He's cooked. It's over.
I don't know. Brett Favre was cooked until he went to Minnesota.
Don't do this to your career. You tried something, it didn't work. Put Devontae on a team he deserves to be on.
Yeah, you look at the career, though. Where does he stack up? Like top 10 of all time?
1 Super Bowl, a lot of passing yards. He's kind of a diva. There you go.
Top 10.
Couldn't have happened to a better person.
Hey, Rich.
All right.
20 for 30. Good for you.
Hey, the A-Rich cannon is clearly needed a couple weeks to get it right.
He's been going
now.
8 for 25 for 190 for the last like 2 years. So
yeah, but
20
hey,
for
he
30 is
wins some
pretty good.
games because he
Good job.
brings those feats in, and there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Vikings. We knew they would beat the Titans. Okay. Keep it going.
Keep going.
The Lions. Wow.
Shit pumping. We're not going to talk about the Jaguars, but I do want to talk about them. The Jaguars are done. Mac Jones stinks. The Detroit Lions claim they're not trying to blow people out. They just said, if you want to, come beat us. I love that. I have a question for you. This is a meathead sports brain take. The Detroit Lions beating teams by this much, is this actually bad for them in the playoffs?
Could be.
They haven't played like a close game.
Yeah, the Texans was a really close game.
And they, pretty good, and it all worked out at the end. And that was kind of like...
they had 2 field goals made that by the skin of their chinny chin
the reason that was even close is because Goff threw 5 interceptions, though.
When Goff doesn't throw a bunch of picks and play like he's reckless, it's pretty apparent what they are. They're really fucking good.
He's thrown picks in 2 games this year. Just 5 in one of them.
Aiden Hutchinson may come back before the end of the season. So it's kind of crazy.
Crazy.
Playoffs.
But they're still pretty taken care of at the line anyway. So, Zadarius Smith, Detroit proud.
They're undefeated, man, and they look really good. And hopefully the Bears can beat them on Thanksgiving. That would be a Thanksgiving miracle.
That sounds like something that would happen.
I would love it.
Why'd you pick the Pats? I saw that today. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
The first half looked like I was on something, but then the Rams woke up, and there you go.
Yeah. I was filling this out, and I was like, why did he take the Patriots?
Shut up.
No, I mean, I'll take it all day, but Drake May looks pretty good, though. I will say
he does look good, and I feel like he's a very talented thrower of the football. He's an athlete, but I do believe that if they get him some weapons out there, he may be better next year.
I agree.
So
Rams still pretty good. Gauntlet here. 3 in a row we both got wrong. Ravens Steelers. That was a battle in the trenches. The Ravens can't beat the Steelers. They beat every other team in the AFC North. They cannot beat the Steelers.
And Russ looks like he's having a renaissance. So good for Russ.
It's that Arthur Smith offense. It's good. Just can't.
You love to see Russ. You love to see Russ.
If you're the Ravens, you're like, okay, that was that, and you move on. I don't think they're too worried about it. They're still going to be top 2 in the AFC at the end of the year, maybe top 3. They're fine. Who's not going to be top 3 is the 49ers. They're, what the fuck? They're the Bengals of the NFC.
The Seahawks got him back at home, man. They got him back. And Geno Smith just figures out ways to win games. You got to love it. They had a really bad taste in their mouth when the 49ers pumped them in Seattle, and they were like, all right, let's go in and make a name for it. And they did. And, this game was really difficult because Joey Bosa is playing hurt, or is it Nick Bosa?
Nick Bosa. Joey's on LA.
Nick Bosa's playing hurt, and he's got an oblique injury, and it's clearly bothering him. They're not playing on all cylinders right now.
You gotta stop dilly-dallying at some point, Mike.
Well, Greg Jennings is your number one, not helping you. Juwan
puts his team on a fucking back. Greg
Earlier
Jennings.
in the game, motherfucker broke his leg, though. Put the shit on my back. For Madden. Okay. Fun tangent. If they fire Shanahan, that's the dumbest shit ever. But
they won't. That doesn't make any fucking sense. They just won't do it.
They'll get going. McCaffrey's back in full health, and they'll get that offense humming, and they might sneak into a wild card spot this year. But who knows? Maybe that's the juice they needed to get to the Super Bowl.
Is it worth the squeeze? Bo Nix MVP?
No.
Bo Nix MVP
Look
this
good.
game?
Look good. Look really fucking good.
Dude. Kirk.
Hey, Sean Payton's a good coach, isn't he?
Yeah, I know. I hate it.
Vince loves
I'll
to hate
admit
Sean
it.
Payton.
I don't hate John. I don't hate Sean Payton. I think he's a little full of himself. But hey, if you do it, if the proof's in the pudding, then that's all you're gonna do.
Bo Nix out there looking like the young accountant that he is, and just getting out there and being
like middle-aged accountant.
Yeah, he's a little rough.
Young. Yeah,
Vince doesn't play well with him in Madden, to say the least.
Yeah, Mike smoked me. I was the Broncos. It wasn't very good. That's just what it is.
There you go.
That's why you play random guys, and then you just get stuck with them.
Hope for the best.
Falcons, just forget about it and move on. That's bad.
Well, they're still probably going to win the NFC South. So
that's I don't know. Bucks still here.
We'll see. Bucks are really good. Bucks are still very good. Okay.
Bills win the AFC in the regular season, which is bad because they're probably going to lose the rematch if they rematch in the AFC Championship.
I don't know about all that, man. Josh Allen looked like a fucking beast.
I know, but this is the regular season, Mike. We've seen this play out.
If they get Matt Milano back in the playoffs, that could be the...
I want it to happen. I cannot believe it until I see it. Because every single year I'm like, hey, this might be the Bills' year. And then like people are like, the Chiefs haven't played well all year. Well, shit, dude. They're 9-1. Like, you can't get mad at that. Mahomes didn't play very well. Whatever. Xavier Worthy played all right. Whatever. He couldn't run the ball. Nothing was working for the Chiefs, and they still only lost by 9.
Well, they still lost. And
I know, but part of me's kind of like,
I hate to say it.
It's good that they did. They needed to at some point. They weren't going to do a Patriots run with the way their team was playing, but like nothing went well and they lost by 9. Anything goes well and it's a different ball game. Like that's a scary proposition, and it just Buffalo don't get too high on this. I think that's what I'm saying.
Buffalo's going to be just fine. They're going to continue to move forward. They're going to represent the AFC East, and yeah.
I know, but playoff time comes. You get the Ravens, you get the Chiefs.
That's going to be fun
for
to
you
watch.
boys. I'm rooting for you,
It'll be
boys.
fun to watch. All right,
Yeah.
and then, man, I just feel really bad for the Bengals. They had every
I feel
chance.
bad for
They had 3 chances to
Joe
win that game.
Burrow. I feel bad for Bengals fans. I don't feel bad for this fucking defense. Whatever they're doing.
Dude, Evan McPherson lost his touch because he was the golden child 2 years ago during that playoff run, and now he just sucks.
All kickers, man. Remember at the beginning of the year when we were like, every kicker makes everything?
Everything
Not
is
the
everything.
case anymore. Everybody's missing. Younghoe Koo missed 2. Evan McPherson wins 2. Or I should have called Sandusky's guy because he likes it Younghoe. Yeah, I want to make that joke every time. Joe Burrow, possibly the MVP if his team didn't suck so bad. The end of this game was so fun. they both wanted to lose the game so bad. They were just airing it out, 3 and out, punt, air it out, 3 and out, punt. Jim Harbaugh wins these games, and that's why they won.
Jim Harbaugh's a great coach.
He wins these games, and he runs the ball when it is field goal, and they don't have to waste the clock out. Just run it one more time. Just why not?
You thought having T. Higgins back, man. You thought it was going to be the thing, but to your point,
he balled.
He's a dog, but you look at this and you go, okay, you give the ball to JK, and just he's back. Renaissance year for JK. He deserves it. Poor guy's gotten hurt like every other year.
Well, that's what happens when you play for the Ravens and you're not Derrick Henry. So, knock on wood.
True. And then Texans Cowboys. Wow, the Cowboys really suck.
They suck. They stink. Throw them out.
Here's a thought process.
Okay.
Cowboys trade for the number 1 pick.
Yep.
Jaguars say, oh, okay. You draft Shador, you hire Dion, new sheriff in town.
And then everything's going to be so good. Because that's how it always goes for the Cowboys. Go ahead, is what I say. Good luck, bud. That's what I say to that.
Yeah, right. Joe Mixon's very good at football. Okay, let's get these picks
and get out of here.
Let's do it. Go ahead.
All right, week 12 of the NFL. We're starting it off hot. Steelers, Browns.
Give me the Steelers.
They did? No, I'm taking Steelers. I want to take the Browns again, but I didn't. I put on here Titans versus Texans. Titans, Texans.
So, give me the Texans.
Come on. Yeah. It's that time of the year where there's not going to be a lot of parity in these anymore. So, Vikings, Bears. You taking the Bears?
No, just give me the Vikings.
Oh, so you lied to me.
Let's both pick them in hopes that they win.
That's what I was doing last week, and you hated on me.
Yes.
Cowboys, Commanders.
Give me the Commanders.
They can't win 2 in a row, right? Give me the Commanders, too. Patriots, Dolphins.
Give me the Dolphins.
Me too. Same picks so far. Chiefs, Panthers. Now we're going to differentiate.
Okay. Chiefs.
Yeah. All right. Chiefs for me as well. Buccaneers, Giants.
Jeez,
oh, man.
Give me the Bucks.
You don't want to pick Tommy DeVito? It's Tommy DeVito game.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks too. I'm not taking Tommy DeVito either. All right. Lions, Colts.
Give me the Lions.
Dude, I don't think we're going to have a different pick this whole time. Broncos, Raiders.
Give me the Broncos.
Same. Cardinals, Seahawks. Pick them.
Give me the Cards.
Give me the Seahawks.
Okay.
At home. Okay. This is good. So maybe we just rely on this instead of this one game. 49ers, Packers, good matchup.
Give me the 49ers. Fuck the Packers.
This unfortunately feels like the time of year where the Packers start getting hot. They do the Oppo Bears.
Go ahead.
I'll take the Packers here at home.
Eagles,
Rams.
Give me the Eagles.
I'm going to take them as well because I have them going deep in the playoffs. And finally, Ravens, Chargers. Sneaky fun matchup.
Ooh, Harbaugh matchup on a Sunday night, Monday night. Give me the Ravens. They are not going to lose 2 in a row. No shot. I feel John gets the best of them.
Yeah, I agree. Older brother wins out. Older brother wins out. Ravens win.
Did we pick the Lions Colts?
We did.
Okay. Yeah.
What?
Okay.
What do you think we did, Mike?
The Lions. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to be sure. Well,
we did.
Vince, it's been a slice. Going to be on Chicago time here by the time everybody listens to this episode.
I'm so excited to hug you, dude. I'm going to give you a big hug.
Big hugs. Hugs all around. Hugs to all of you. Thank you for joining us once again. We appreciate you. If you haven't yet, be sure you follow it. Be sure you subscribe to it. Be sure you listen to it and download it just because you could keep us with you, a little piece of us with you today. And then not only that, if you haven't yet, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your sister from another mister or brother from another mother. And then, of course,
it's the year of the siblings.
It is the year of the siblings. And of course, you're going to all be with your siblings next week. So be sure to pay attention to the Gobble Gobble episode because we will be early next week.
Wednesday.
Recording on a Tuesday. So you can get it on a Wednesday before you consume an aggressive amount of calories. Thank you, and we will be back. Peace.
Talking Tales with Mike and Vince. Oh, you know. Jazzy beats while we dispense. Yeah, you know.